Now, given that Lucasfilm is right now trying to restructure Star Wars as a franchise and as a brand and exactly where it's going to go after The Mandalorian Season 3 and Star Wars Ahsoka, we have Bob Iger really right-sizing everything related to the Star Wars roadmap, exactly what they're going to be focusing on from this point on forward, and how they want to focus more so on movies again, as opposed to strictly just Star Wars shows. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, there's a lot of things happening between, of course, all the Disney executives, Kathleen Kennedy, John, George, and Dave, and where all these projects are really heading. Now, we do know that a lot of fans had quite a number of issues with The Mandalorian Season 3, given that Kathleen Kennedy had some level of creative input during the scripting phase, or pre-production, strictly, but she did not have any kind of input while they were filming or principal photography. So that brings us to exactly what is being planned for The Mandalorian Season 4 and other Star Wars projects ahead that's really going to center around the Skywalker saga and as well as the Skywalker family tree and more. Now, we know that, of course, everything related to Star Wars right now is that it's an ever-evolving process, right? It's all about testing the waters to see what works and what does not work, and that's exactly what Ahsoka is going to be. Given that the early screenings about all the footage that they have shot has been going along very, very well, and how a second season was already greenlit for Ahsoka, that's going to be very heavy on big-time cameos again. We're talking about character cameos, not celebrity cameos. But moving on, what's really exciting about what's brewing behind the scenes between John, Dave, and George is that with Lucasfilm gearing up for The Mandalorian Season 4, where John and Dave now have full control over this season, the storyboarding process has been going very smooth so far as they revise the script. Now, it's described that one of the storyboards involves a scene that will be directed by George Lucas himself, with the help of Favreau and Filoni that bring back Hayden Christensen and Mark Hamill on the set together for the first time, where new ILM technology will be used to de-age Mark Hamill. It's in this moment in which both father and son will reunite. In the storyboard illustration description, Anakin's Force Ghost appears before Luke on Ossus, inside of his Jedi temple, just like Luke and Grogu were inside during the Book of Boba Fett. Here, Anakin is sitting on a bench and teaching Luke about the netherworld of the Force and the powers it holds that can be utilized in the mortal world. Anakin's design is somewhat different here, where Hayden is said to have hair that is slightly longer than how it was in Revenge of the Sith. Anakin is teaching Luke about the intel that's embedded inside of a Jedi holocron that Anakin is holding, much like how Force Ghosts held objects such as Luke holding the Skywalker saber in Episode 9. Now let me just stop right here for 1 second. This is the first time where we would finally be able to witness a Jedi holocron in its live-action adaptation. Holocrons, by the way, so far, have not been a big focus in live-action. We got, the first appearance big time in Solo: A Star Wars Story in Dryden Voss's lair, a Sith holocron sitting in the background deactivated. And ever since, a lot of fans have wanted to see, more activated Jedi holocrons or Sith holocrons where it's actually in use, something that we have never seen before in live action just yet. And what I like so much about this is that Anakin is teaching Luke about the netherworld, the powers it can hold, and Jedi lore stored within this Jedi holocron. Now again, we know that Luke Skywalker for the past 30 plus years have been searching for Jedi lore scattered across the galaxy, hidden in vaults away from Palpatine. If you guys have seen the Battlefront cutscenes, you do know that Luke actually entered into one of Palpatine's vaults that held a lot of Jedi lore in there, one of which had a lot to do with his way to discovering Ahch-To. Now, the thing about this, too, is that this father and son reunion is something that fans have been waiting for. There is a book out there called Shadows of the Sith, and in that book, it takes place a little while before The Force Awakens. There's a moment where actually Luke Skywalker gets shocked when he sees his father appearing before him for the first time in a long time, basically saving him from the world of Exegol. And I don't want to go into all the details, but it's a very great read. Basically, Anakin saves Luke in that book. Literally, quite literally he does. And in this scenario, Anakin is literally warning Luke about Exegol. So Exegol is still going to be somewhat of a focus in Luke's journey about how it is the link to the Sith, or the ancient Sith, and the royal family that existed well before the events of the Old Republic era. Now, the thing about this too is that we know Lucasfilm is creating different eras that take place before the Old Republic, and that Exegol existed well before the Old Republic as well. We already know that Dawn of the Jedi is a new era that has been greenlit by James Mangold, who's going to be handling that film, but I digress. This holocron is said to hold secrets to the world of Exegol that Luke has been studying, as well as the location of nearby worlds that holds many indigenous people that are Force sensitive to eventually become Jedi. This is described to be John and Dave's chance and way to bring Anakin into the big picture in live action again, in the present, to deliver lines of dialogue. It's here where Anakin is warning Luke about the dangers of Exegol, and it's teased here that Anakin teaches him the Force projection technique that is taught him from the netherworld of the Force. This is John and Dave's attempt to give Luke's power in The Last Jedi brand new meaning. However, Hayden is also signed on to appear as Anakin's Force Ghost in Ahsoka Season 2 to appear in the World Between Worlds. All is coming together because Hayden did sign on for a multi-contract deal. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he's on a multi-show contract deal, to be specific, to appear as Anakin several times. Now, this includes flashbacks, Force Ghost scenes, stuff around those lines, or himself in the suit of Darth Vader. So he's got a lot of things lined up. I'm very happy for Hayden. I'm very happy that he does have a lot of opportunities ahead of him. And given that we have this 2025 Star Wars movie at the forefront, of course, there are a lot of discussions happening at Disney to bring him back to the big screen in that movie as a Force Ghost, and also in Dave Filoni's movie as a Force Ghost, to bring Anakin back to theaters once again. Again, a missed opportunity in the sequel trilogy that they now have the opportunity to explore on the big screen again. So here's the deal about this. The fact that George Lucas will be actually directing this scene, he will be handling how it's going to be executed. In The Mandalorian Season 4, this is a big deal. The biggest question of all is, when are we going to see Mando 4? Well, the original plan by John and Dave was to get this out by holiday season of 2024. Given that now the script is being revised and fixed up and cleaned up, it's very likely that we might not see this until early 2025. It's possible. I'm not saying it's for sure, but it could very well happen, similar to what happened with Mando Season 3, where they did some additional filming to make some of the episodes longer. That kind of delayed the process from holiday of 2022 all the way over to, of course, 2023. Now, it's very interesting, though, because this is giving Anakin the limelight that he deserves. We never really got to see Force Ghost Anakin in all his glory, and now they're going to be doing it in Mando Season 4 for starters. So anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.